Hello again, YouTubers. Welcome back to the Board Game Captain. I'm your host, the Board Game Captain.
And I'm Lynn.
And today, we're going to be doing something a little bit differently. This is going to be a game collection Cull video. Our collection is getting close to around 300 games at the moment, plus role-playing games and other gaming assorted paraphernalia. And we're going to be going to Gen Con later this year, and we know we're probably going to buy 30 to 40 games at Gen Con like we normally do. And you know what? We need to make a little space on the shelf. And there's no-brainer games where we both dislike them, where I can say, oh, let's get rid of that. And we sometimes just do. We get rid of that very easily. But Lynn pointed something out very important to me. Why don't you tell them what you said to me the other day?
I said there's no reason to keep mediocre games.
And that's true. And there are some games where like, oh, it wasn't bad. We can hold on to that one. But why? Mm-hmm. We have better games that do the same thing, so we decided to get rid of them. So we're going to go over some things we've decided to get rid of. And when you do decide to cull games from your collection, there's always some good options out there. You could donate them to your local game store if they carry that game for their library of games to be played at the store. You could donate it to a charity. You could sell it to a resale store.
Many, I don't know how they acquire them, but your local, just regular library, most of them now have a gaming section where you can check out games, and they have family game nights. So you can also inquire at your library, see if they'll take donations of gently used games.
That's a good one. Also over on the One Tar, she did a video about culling from her collection. She recommended, which was a good one, you can check at local children's hospitals if they'll take donations for the kids, which was a really good idea. Mm-hmm. So I just wanted to mention that too, and give my little hats off to the One Tar for that one. So without any further ado, let's get into it. Let's talk about why we're getting rid of some of these games and gaming items.
First one is Ratuki.
Show that up to the camera.
It's a quick little card game. It's okay. I mean, that's just it's okay. It's not fantastic. Yeah,
this is one I didn't bother reviewing because again, it's speed based. It's super fast. And like you said, it's just all right. It's very middle of the road. Mm-hmm. There's so many other games I would play before this, and I didn't feel like we need to hold on to it either, so I'll put that on the side. My first one here is an old little card game that you had purchased, actually. Chaos Isle. This is a little co-op game about fighting zombies, and it's almost entirely random. It's just you draw random cards and you roll dice, and it's completely random. There's almost no decision making to be had, and it's just not a very good game. I even tried playing it solo one time, and I rarely play solo games, but yeah, it just wasn't fun.
I don't even remember it.
And it's not memorable. That's part of the problem. So that one's getting sold. What do we got? Then
we have Gloom. It's a storytelling game that I don't remember playing either. Because it's that memorable.
There are people who are big fans of Gloom. It actually is still in print, but I don't get it. I mean, the storytelling, there's a slight prompt in the game to come up with the story, and it's fun like the first 3 times you do it, and then you start to get bored. And I seriously don't understand the appeal of this game. I'm totally with you on this one, which is why we decided to sell it. My next one is Maximum Throwdown. Now, I've actually just put up a review and tutorial for this video, so feel free to check that out for a thorough explanation of why we didn't like it, but the sum up is this game is bad.
Yeah.
It's just bad.
And next I have Cards Against Humanity. It was fun the first 10, 15 times, and then you got the same cards again, and it wasn't as funny. There is a review and tutorial up if you want to see a thorough explanation. But yeah, this is a game that is great when you first get it, but it becomes less fun as you play on. So there gets to be a time where it's time to retire it, and that time is now. Mm-hmm. Now, this was one that you purchased. Pirates.
Yes, Jolly Roger, the game of piracy and mutiny. Now, Lynn purchased this one at Gen Con one year. Now, the first warning sign that there should have been a problem with this game is it is 4 to 10 players, which means we very rarely have a large number of people to play these big party games. Now, we tried it at 4 players, and Lynn took an instant dislike to it. She didn't like any of the mechanics in it, and we didn't even get to play it enough for me to review it, so there's never going to be a review of this, but you never want to play this game, so I was just like, forget it, and I put it on the sell pile. Why hold on to it if we're never going to frickin' play it, right?
Yeah. Taking up space.
Taking up space it was, but not anymore.
Next is Scrabble. I love word games. I love words and learning new words and learning the etymology of where words come from. But I would much rather play Scattergories as a
word game.
As a word game. I find, because with Scattergories, you can kind of have fun with it. If someone challenges, you can, we rarely really get challenges because we agree ahead of time, like a knuckle sandwich counts as a sandwich, you know? But with Scrabble, I find people are much more serious, and they're like breaking out the Scrabble dictionary, like, that's not a word, and it's like, okay.
I agree with you. You know, it's funny, because you never played this game as a kid.
No, I didn't.
And I had and did not like it, but then you one day said to me, we really should have a copy of Scrabble, and I said, why? And you said, because I never got to play it and I want to play it. So I went and I bought this for you, and we played it a few times, and then you realized why we should not have a copy of Scrabble, right?
Scattergories all the way.
Yeah, Scrabble is terrible. My next one is a little game called Infighting. Now, this is a game supposedly in the Dungeons and Dragons universe, but it's really just generic fantasy, and it's about a bunch of adventurers getting into a bar fight. There's a lot of randomness, there's a lot of silliness, and this, you know what, this game was fun while I played it, and it's been out for a while, but I got bored with it, and there's no reason to hold on to it once I'm bored with it. So, I'm going to sell it. Going to get rid of it.
Next, I have Name Chase. I think you bought this for me, I think.
We got that at the Mall of America.
Yeah, there was some kind of, brain store. It was all thinky.
It was all educational stuff.
And it sounded like it would be fun. You get a card and you have to, there's 4 different facts on the card, and one person has to figure out the historical person that the facts are referencing.
And you reveal them one at a time.
Yeah, you reveal them one at a time. There's different points. So if you have all 4 facts revealed, you get less points than if you got it on the first try. And it sounded fun, but it wasn't fun.
Well, it's you know what the problem is the facts go from general to specific, and the first time you get the card, you're never going to guess the person off the first couple of clues, because for instance, one of the first clues on one of the cards is an Indian politician, and you're like, because there's only one. And then when that card comes up again, where the first clue is Indian politician, then it's not fun because the person who's seen it before knows, and they go, Indira Gandhi. And they get it. And yeah, it's lame. It's lame. My next one is Brass Empire. Now, this is not a bad game. This is an okay game. It is a deck building game. We played it a few times. I enjoyed it, but the problem is there's a lot of deck building games out there right now, and we have quite a few that we like better than this. So when we're in the mood to play a deck building game, we usually go for one of the others before this.
Yeah, it's not bad, but it's a mediocre deck building.
It just doesn't stand out. It doesn't do anything to differentiate itself and stand out as being more interesting or more fun than some of the others, like say Ascension or Mystic Veil, which we would play before this. So it's not getting cold because it's bad. It's getting cold just because it doesn't get played.
Next, I have Codenames Pictures.
Oh my goodness.
I hate this game with a white-hot passion of 10,000 burning hot suns.
I like this game.
My brain doesn't work like other people's brains that I tend to play games with. So, whenever I was the Code Master or Spy Master, whatever they call them.
Spy Master.
I would say, circle 3, and they were not understanding what I meant.
I like this game. I'm going to have a review coming out for this soon on the channel. But yeah. Speaking of which, Brass Empire did already have a review on the channel. If you want to check out a more thorough explanation, I'm going to have a review coming out for this on the channel at some point. I like this game, but the problem is you need a lot of people to play this game effectively. It claims 2 to 8, but 2 is not proper. And then it says competitively 4 to 8, and 4 is where you need a minimum, and it's more fun with even more than that. But the thing is, I never play large games like that without Lynn. And if Lynn is at this point, after playing this game about 2 or 3 times, flatly refusing to play the game anymore, I'm never going to get to play the game. So there's no reason to hold on to it, even though I do like it. So my next one is a pair of books for the Warlord game. The Warlord is a tabletop miniature game that was published by Reaper Minis as a rule system to play with their miniatures, which you might have already purchased for using in role-playing games. It wasn't bad, but it didn't stand out, and I'm also just kind of moving away from miniature games in general at this point, except for the pre-painted ones, because I just don't really have the time to paint whole armies anymore like I used to. I mean, I painted a lot of large fantasy and sci-fi armies in my day, but it's gotten to the point where, I mean, it's much easier to pick up a board game and play a new board game than pick up a miniature game and play another miniature game.
My next one is Van Helsing.
Review and tutorial coming soon.
It's just, the rules are a hot mess. The gameplay is a hot mess. It's just a hot mess.
That game is awful in 31 flavors. 31 flavors of awful. Watch the review for a thorough explanation of why it's as terrible as it is. In fact, I'm going to invite you to do that review with me, because there's a lot of vitriol from both of us on that game. But we'll thoroughly explain it. But you know what? Maybe someone else will like it better than us. Maybe it'll get find a good home with someone else who has no taste.
Who can decipher the rule book.
Oh my god. So my next game that we're culling is another one that it's not a bad game. It's an okay game, but that's it. It's just okay. It's circular reasoning. The problem with circular reasoning is, okay, it's an abstract strategy game, and again, I've already done a review of this if you want to check it out on my channel. Now, this is a 2 to 4 player game, but the problem is it doesn't play well at 2 players at all. And for a 2-player abstract strategy game, I'd much rather play the standard 2-player abstract strategy games like Onitama or The Duke or Mouse Guard than this. Any of those. So this never gets picked up for that. And for 3 and 4 players, well, that's where it shines. There's so many other light and medium time 3 and 4 player games that I would rather play before this. It just, again, it got played about 5 times and then we haven't picked it up again.
Yeah. My next one is Rattle, Battle, Grab the Loot. Josh likes this game.
We didn't even get to finish a full game of this.
I hated it so much, I just refused to continue playing.
You about ruined game night over this game. You like went nuts. You were like, oh my god, I hate this. Why are you enjoying it? It was like, can we finish the one game? And you're like, no, you cannot. Why do you hate it so much?
I don't even know. It just rubbed me the wrong way in like every single way possible.
Is it just the style just frustrates you? Or?
I think so, yeah.
I mean, I was enjoying it. I was having fun, and then I looked over at you, and you were like... and I was like, oh, what's going on? I thought you were going to kill me at one point.
No, it's just...
But that game, I guess... Yeah, and we didn't get to play it enough for me to review it, so it's getting sold. My next one is some old Battletech books. Now, I love Battletech, and this is not me getting rid of Battletech in any way, and I love these books. But I've got the updated versions that came from Catalyst. These are the really old versions from FASA, some of which that I was holding on to for nostalgia reasons. I had already sold quite a few of the old versions that I didn't really need anymore, and I was holding on to some of these because I liked them, but I have the updated versions, and I just don't need 2 copies of the same books. So for that reason, I'm selling some of my old Battletech books here. But I love Battletech, and I love those books, and I want you to know it's not because I dislike them.
My next one is a little Trivial Pursuit, pop culture. I like Trivial Pursuit. Josh doesn't. He refuses to play it with me, so... Yeah.
I hate Trivial Pursuit. Trivial Pursuit is an awful game. My next one is another one because it's a duplicate. I have a much larger, nicer version of Go, which is actually over there. I can see it sitting on the table. And I had this much older, smaller, boxed version of Go that I just, being that I have the bigger, nicer set, I don't need to have 2 Go sets. So that's going to get culled. That's gone.
Next, I have a little game called Sanitarium.
The review and tutorial for this is coming soon.
It was okay.
Meh.
Yeah, mediocre.
Meh.
Not good, not terrible.
Meh.
I'm trying to escape a sanitarium.
That's haunted.
Yeah.
It seemed, the theme seemed really fun, but then you play the game and the game does nothing to really stand out, and it's just mediocre. The mechanics aren't super fun. You know what? And the rule book is a little poorly written too.
Mm-hmm. There's ambiguities.
You'll see the full review and tutorial.
Ambiguities is the word.
That is not a word.
That's why I don't play Scrabble.
You'll see the review and tutorial for Sanitarium coming soon, and we'll give a full explanation of all the things we dislike about the game and why we're not holding on to it. My next group of books is for the Nightbane RPG. Now, this is literally every Nightbane book here, all 5 of them. I don't know if they've come out with any new ones since these, but at the time when I had these were all 5. And at the time I was really into the Palladium RPGs before I had tried some more modern gaming systems. And just really when it comes down to it, while some of the Palladium RPG settings are really, really cool and unique, like Rift's is, some of the others are a bit generic, like Nightbane feels like the World of Darkness RPG, or they have the Zombie Apocalypse one, Dead Rain. There's a million Zombie Apocalypse RPGs. And you know what? With a generic world RPG that feels like many others that are out there, their system is nothing to write home about. And there's no real reason to have their system over some of the more modern systems, especially since their system really has not had any major updates since the mid-1980s.
Yeah.
So so that's getting cold. There's no reason to hold on to that one.
My last one is Run, Fight, or Die in the expansion. It's basically like fancied up push your luck dice game.
The review and tutorial for this is coming soon.
That's basically what it is, with just miniatures and
lasting a long time.
And other things. And it lasts way too long for what it is, which is a push your luck dice game.
Yeah, check out when it comes out, the full review and tutorial on that, and you'll see why it is that. I mean, it's not that it's a bad game. It's just meh, and it's too long for what it is, and there's too much randomness. But I mean, that's the gist. But if you watch the review and tutorial when it comes up, you'll see our full explanation on it. The next one I have here is Deadlands: The Battle for Slaughter Gulch. Now, I love the Deadlands RPG and Deadlands RPG setting, which is why I got this. But this board game just feels blah when it comes to the mechanics. It's fairly uninspired. And it wasn't a very good representation of the Deadlands world. We played it once. And both of us were like trying to like it. We were like, oh, but that was pretty good. But no, after a while we were like, no, it wasn't very good. And we're just not, maybe someone else will like it more. Mm-hmm. We didn't think it was bad. We just, it wasn't for us. Yeah. So maybe someone will like it more. So we're going to cull it from the collection and perhaps it'll get a good home with someone else. And then the final book, the final game is another Palladium RPG called Beyond the Supernatural, which again is basically Palladium Books' version of Call of Cthulhu. I mean, it's supernatural investigators investigating cases that involve unspeakable evil supernatural monsters and possibly going insane. So yeah, it's basically Call of Cthulhu done by Palladium Books, which again, the Palladium book system is getting really dated, and there's much better, newer systems that you could play these sort of settings in, like Savage Worlds with their Realms of Cthulhu, which I find to be very superior to that, and I have that, so there's no reason for me to do that. So there you have it. These are a bunch of games that we are culling from our collection for one reason or another. And you know what? Every once in a while, if your collection is getting larger than the space that you have available for it, you have to go through and you have to pick stuff out to get rid of, right?
And also, if you have a bunch of regular game night people and there's a game that you're kind of meh on, but maybe one of them really likes, just give it to them too. That's another option.
And I have done that. I have given games that we weren't going to play anymore to other people that we play with. I'm like, hey, maybe you guys might like this. Or like, we had bought some games not realizing how they were kind of really more for kids. And then we gave it to someone with kids. Like, hey, play this with your kids. You guys might like it. It's not really for us.
Mm-hmm.
And that is a thing, and that happens. But you do need to clean out your collection now and again to make room for new purchases, especially when you're going to a big game convention like Gen Con, because we know we're going to make new purchases. So do you have anything else to add on that?
Nope.
So there you have it. Feel free to comment down below if you loved any of these games and would never part with them. Feel free to tell us that we're crazy for selling them. If you enjoyed this video and you'd like to see us do more of these in the future whenever we decide to do game collection culls, feel free to give this a like, share this video, and subscribe to the Board Game Captain. That's Captain spelled with a K on YouTube. If you have any comments, questions, or concerns about this video at all, put them in the comments down below. And until next time, game on.